G'day everybody and welcome back into another video on the channel, and in today's video I'm going to be going through my 2025 round 2 AFL tips and predictions. Before we do get into the video, it'd be much appreciated if you all like up the video and subscribe to the channel. Enough wasting your time, let's just get straight into it. Now before we do get into the actual tips, I'll just quickly go through how I did in round 1, and I did pretty shocking. Obviously everybody would have tipped Carlton in that Thursday night game. That was a massive shock. Richmond might be better than what everyone are thinking this year, or it could have just been a one-off, you never know. And then for the first tip that I got right was the Friday night. I got the Hawks to beat Essendon, got that right. I tipped Freo to beat Geelong, being they do have a good record at GMHBA as of recent time, but the Cats just absolutely thumped them in that last quarter. Tipped Swans at home. Pretty disappointed with that tip. I really thought that they could get that done. I tipped North Melbourne actually. I really thought that they could get it done with the Bulldogs injury list. I feel like this was the game that they could have won to make a bit of a statement. But yeah, the Bulldogs just scraped through in the end and got the job done by 16 points. And then the other Saturday night game, the Pies just absolutely thumped the Power. And I did tip the Power, so I did get that wrong. And then at this current point of time, I went 1-6 in tips, with the only game that I had gotten right so far was the Hawthorn-Essendon game, tipping Hawthorn correctly. And then on the Sunday, I got 2 of the 3 games correct, with me tipping Adelaide against the Saints. GWS just got the job done against Melbourne, which I did tip correct. And then I tipped West Coast, which was an absolute disaster. Just disappointing, disgusted with that performance. But yeah, overall I got a 3 out of 9 in the tipping. Not good at all. I'm hoping to at least get a 6, or actually no, there's only 8 games this round, so a 5 or a 6 I'll be happy with out of 8, I reckon, this round. Alright, let's get into the first game of the round. We have Carlton taking on Hawthorn at the G Thursday night. Once again, Carlton did play Thursday night last week, and what a disappointment they were. They just lost to the team that was expected to finish. Well, expected. Literally, I can say this. At least 90% of all AFL fans had Richmond finishing last this year and maybe getting tops of 2 wins. And they just got absolutely beaten up by a bunch of 18, 19-year-olds. And the Hawks, what can I say? They're the best team in the comp at the moment. Yeah, the Hawks are looking real good. Flag favourites at the moment. There's not really much else to say about the Hawks, really. They're just a genuinely good team. They're really, really good all around the ground. And last week, it seemed like the Bombers, they could have gotten up in some stages, but every single time they kick a goal, the Hawks would always have the answers. And that's why I'm going to go the Hawks to get the job done by 34 points on the Thursday night. Alright, now we move on to the Friday night game. Obviously, we have the Pies taking on the Western Bulldogs, or for this round, known as the Footscray Bulldogs. Obviously a big occasion for the Bulldogs. It's their 100-year anniversary game or something like that, where they're going to be called the Footscray Bulldogs just for this round. And usually when it is a side's like a 100-year anniversary or 50-year anniversary, they usually do show up. And being the Dogs' performance on the weekend, it wasn't that bad, to be completely honest. They scored 113. I mean, it was North, not the best of sides in the comp, obviously, but North are looking on the up this year. And the Pies, well, they just absolutely obliterated Port Adelaide at their home deck last Saturday, was it? Yeah, Saturday night. Yeah, it was a horror show for Port on Saturday. The Pies are not looking as bad as what I thought they were going to be after that GWS game. But now that they've done that to Port, I think they've really made a statement that they're not here to mess around. And just for the fact that it's at the G, Western Bulldogs, they don't ever play at the G, do they? And when they do, I don't think they play very well. And for that reason, I'm going to go the Pies to get the job done by 22 points on the Friday night. Now we move on to this Saturday games. For the first game of the Saturday, we have the Adelaide Crows taking on the Essendon Bombers at the G. The Adelaide Crows, they don't really get the results that they want at the G, but I feel like this time round, they're coming off a good win to St Kilda, very good win. They're going to be hungry for some more wins, and they're definitely in contention for top 6 this year. But they could potentially lose this, being Essendon. They're not that bad of a side, to be completely honest. They did lose to the Hawks, but they're the Hawks. They're at the moment, they're the flag favourites, best team in the comp. Yeah, I reckon this is going to be probably one of the closer games of the round. It's going to be very, very tight, but I'm going to say the Crows just get it done by 5 points. Now we've got the other Adelaide side. This time they're playing at the Adelaide Oval against an on-fire Richmond. Yeah, Richmond, they actually don't look that bad. I don't know if it was just a fluke, it was just a one-off, or they're actually genuinely an alright side. But then again, Carlton could have just been off their game and had a really, really shit game. You never know. Port Adelaide also, obviously coming off a very, very bad, poor performance to the Pies. Losing by, I think, 90-something points. Was it 92? Something? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure by how much it was, but it was an absolute smashing. But in my eyes, Port should be getting this done by at least 15 to 20 points against an alright looking Richmond side. And if they don't, there's going to be some serious questions going around the club over the next week or so. So I reckon I'll go safe and tip Port, because you never know. They might get absolutely smashed, but I'm just going to go safe, and I'm going to go Port to get the job done by 16 points. Now moving on to the Saturday night game at Marvel, we've got the Saints taking on Geelong. And geez, Geelong look really, really good against a pretty flat Freo side on the weekend. Besides Murphy Reid kicking them 4 goals, was it? 4 goals in 10 minutes on debut. They looked pretty flat. Yeah, Geelong, obviously Bailey Smith having his debut for the club, and holy fuck did he put on an absolute show. 32 disposals and 1 goal, I believe. Yeah, if he keeps performing like that, there's no reason he can't win the Brownlow this year. And obviously St Kilda not looking great after that trip to Adelaide, losing by 63 points, I think it was. Yeah, not too great for the Saints. But could the Saints possibly take it up to them? Potentially they could, being it is at Marvel. I wouldn't completely rule the Saints out of this one, but yeah, I'm going to have to go Geelong, and I'm going to go Geelong by a relatively comfortable win by 29 points. Alright, next up we move on to the Sunday, the 1:10 game. Up in Brisbane, we've got the Lions taking on West Coast, and holy shit, West Coast, their performance was just absolutely disgusting. As a West Coast fan myself, I really did have higher hopes for West Coasters. Last year, they didn't have the greatest of years, and really in the past 3 years, they've been bottom 4. Really, since about 2022, they've been bottom 4. And for me, they're the wooden spooners. After that absolute shit show, they just were letting Jared Witts, I think, had 70 hitouts. Just Flynn got absolutely dominated in the ruck, and they were just letting Rowell and Anderson do whatever they want in that midfield. Obviously, King kicking a career best, I think it was. Correct me if I'm not correct there, but I think he did kick a career best 6 goals. And yeah, West Coast, they're just looking shocking this year. And I really think after that performance, they're going to finish last this year, and I really didn't want to have to say that. And then Brisbane, coming off a close win to Sydney at Sydney's home turf. Good win. Good win to get on the board. Obviously, they weren't able to train the week before that, I believe, because of Cyclone Alfred. And yeah, it was just a really good win. Close. I think Sydney, they did get out to a bit of a lead in the first quarter, but slowly going on, Brisbane eventually got back and just got the dub by 4 points. So with that all said, I think it's going to be an absolute smashing, although Brisbane aren't the type of side that smashes other teams, but I'm still going to go a very, very high margin. I'm going to say they get the job done by 68 points. On to the second last game of the round, we've got North Melbourne playing Melbourne. Melbourne, they're looking not as bad as what I thought they were going to perform this year. They're actually relatively good side. They obviously did just come off a loss to GWS, but it was a credible loss. I honestly do think they were the better side out there all day. And geez, Christian Petrarca, he looks absolutely amazing. But yeah, after that, I think Melbourne are going to have a relatively good season this year. And then as for North, they did come off a loss that actually both the sides are coming off a bit of a credible loss. North coming off a 16-point defeat to the Bulldogs. I did actually tip North in that game because I think it was because of all the injuries the Bulldogs had. I thought that they could actually get a sneaky win there, North. But yeah, altogether, North are looking a lot better than what they have over the past 4 years, and I think they're going to slowly improve over this year, and then next year they'll be well and truly in the top 11, 12 next year. Possibly even this year. But I think I'm just going to go safe. It is at Marvel where the Demons don't play that great, but I'm still going to tip the Demons, and I'm going to tip them to get it done by 11 points. Now on to the final game of the round at Optus Stadium. Freo take on the Swans. Obviously, both these sides coming off a loss, especially Freo with, I think it was like, I can't even remember. I think it was 78 points. And then Sydney coming off a close loss to Brisbane. And the Swans, if they lose this, they'll go 0-3 because, yeah, they played in opening round. They lost against the Hawks. Then they lost against Brisbane last week by a very, very, very close margin. And then this week, if they lose to Freo, that'll be 3 on the trot that they've lost. However, I think this will be a different story for Freo. I think they are going to get the job done. Being it is at Optus, their home fans will get them up and about. And they'll get their first win of the season by 35 points. I hope everybody went on to enjoy today's video. And if you did, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as it would be much appreciated. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.